Hare Krishna everyone, so welcome back to Shravanam Diaries podcast. I'm your host Sulalita Devidasi and we're continuing with the path of perfection by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So, as Sridhara Swami says, Yat satyataya mitya sargopi satyavat pratiyate. The spiritual world is real, and this unreal material manifestation only appears to be real. We must understand that reality will never be vanquished, and that in essence reality means eternality. Therefore, material pleasure which is temporary is not actual. Real pleasure exists in Krishna. Consequently, those who are after the reality don't participate in this shadow pleasure. Thus, when everything in the material world is annihilated, that spiritual nature remains eternally. And it is the purpose of human life to reach that spiritual sky. Unfortunately, people are not aware of the reality of the spiritual sky. According to Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.31, Nate viduh svartha gatim hi vishnum. People do not know their self-interest. They do not know that human life is meant for understanding spiritual reality and preparing oneself to be transferred to that reality. No one can remain here in this material world. All Vedic literatures instruct us in this way. Tamasi ma jyotir gama. Don't remain in this darkness. Go to the light. According to the 15th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā 15.6, Natad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakah yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Quote, that abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. This material world is dark by nature, and we are artificially illuminating it with electric lights, fire, and so on. In any case, its nature is dark, but the spiritual nature is full of light. When the sun is present, there is no darkness. Similarly, every planet in the spiritual sky is self-luminous. Therefore, there is no darkness, nor is there need of sun, moon, or electricity. The word Suryo means sun, Shashanko means moon, and Pavakah means fire or electricity. So these are not required in the spiritual sky for illumination. And again, Krishna herein says, Yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That is my supreme abode, and one who reaches it never returns to this material world. Unquote. I also remember in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which we will be reading after we will complete Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada also writes in one of the purports, it really struck me when I read it first time. Prabhupada says that spirit soul, spiritual spark, like you and I, we're all spiritual sparks. So even spiritual spark is more dazzling and more effulgent than millions of moons, millions of suns, he said. Millions of suns, and we're just a spark, we're just part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So Supreme Lord is so effulgent, so his abode naturally is so effulgent. So that is our real nature. Okay, we will even read in Light of Bhagavata. We'll be reading it soon. Light of the Bhagavata, also Srila Prabhupada writes that when you start practicing spiritual life, you become effulgent, like naturally the more you're closer to the spiritual self, like even in this material body, you'll be just, effulgent. You will start, like that's why it's considered that people who are doing some sinful deeds, they're like they just become very gloomy, like very dark, basically, like because the soul becomes more and more covered with tamas. Tamas is ignorance, mode of ignorance. So the closer we are to light, the more we are dazzling. Yes. So this is stated throughout Bhagavad-gītā. Again, in this 8th chapter, Bhagavad-gītā 8.21, it is said, Avyakto-kshara ityuktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Quote, that supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Unquote. Again, the word avyakta, meaning unmanifest, is used. The word akshara means that which is never annihilated, or that which is infallible. This means that since the supreme abode is eternal, it is not subject to the six transformations mentioned previously. So yesterday we spoke about 6 transformations, meaning something is born, grows, stays for some time, leaves some byproducts, dwindles, and vanishes. So supreme abode is eternal, it's not subject to the 6 transformations. Because we are presently covered by a dress of material senses, we cannot see the spiritual world, and the spiritual nature is inconceivable for us. Yet we can feel that there is something spiritual present. Even a man completely ignorant of the spiritual nature can somehow feel its presence. One need only analyze his body silently. What am I? Am I this finger? Am I this body? Am I this hair? No, I'm not this. And I'm not that. I'm something other than this body. I'm something beyond this body. What is that? That is the spiritual. In this way we can feel or sense the presence of spirituality within this matter. We can sense the absence of spirit when the body is dead. If we witness somebody dying, we can sense that something is leaving the body. Although we do not have the eyes to see it, that something is spirit. Its presence in the body is explained in the very beginning of Bhagavad-gītā 2.17. Avinashi tu tadvidhi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyayasyaya nakashchit kartum arhati. Quote, know that which pervades the entire body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. Unquote. Spiritual existence is eternal, whereas the body is not. It is said that the spiritual atmosphere is avyakta, unmanifest. How then can it be manifest for us? Making the unmanifest manifest is this very process of Krishna consciousness. According to Padma Purana, Atashti Krishna namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyaih sevon mukhehi jihvadao svayam eva spuratyada. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 17.136. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses. but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto them." Unquote. In this verse, the word indriyaih means the senses. We have five. We have 5 senses for gathering knowledge: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. And 5 senses for working: voice, hands, legs, genitals, and anus. These 10 senses are under the control of the mind. Yes, the mind is sometimes called the 6th sense. Manach Shashtanindriya, ani Prakriti-sthani кажете. Okay, so these 10 senses are under the control of the mind. It is stated in this verse that with these dull material senses, we cannot understand Krishna's name, form, and force, so forth. Why is this? Krishna is completely spiritual, and he is also absolute. Therefore, his name, form, qualities, and paraphernalia are also spiritual. Due to material conditioning or material bondage, we cannot presently understand what is spiritual. But this ignorance can be removed by chanting Hare Krishna. If a man is sleeping, he can be awakened by sound vibration. You can call him, "Come on, it's time to get up." Although the person is unconscious, hearing is so prominent that even a sleeping man can be awakened by sound vibration. Similarly, overpowered by this material conditioning, our spiritual consciousness is presently sleeping. But it can be revived by this transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I really like this sentence. Overpowered by this material conditioning, our spiritual consciousness is presently sleeping, but it can be revived. I was reading today some quotes of Srila Prabhupada about chanting of the Hare Krishna, and he was also saying that he's always stressing the importance of chanting Hare Krishna and the 16 rounds of Mahamantra on the beads, and he was saying that sometimes if devotees get swayed away from the process, he said that they're not taking this guaranteed process of spiritual awakening, of spiritual advancement, and they're taking up some like useless hardships, thinking that will help them progress. You see what I mean? Like sometimes we are imagining that, oh, I'm so, like Prabhupada saying, overpowered by this material conditioning. And you can say that these are material problems, our weaknesses, our personal challenges. And we think that, oh my God, I need to do something. And then the material world, like sometimes I'm amazed by how many people just, pose as the knowers of the absolute truth and like try to convince you to do this or to do that, to try this method, to try that method, to make your life better, connect with your spiritual self, awaken your spiritual identity and spiritual powers, like everything. And really sometimes these simple truths, you just really want to remember them and focus on them and really, cultivate your faith more and more. That, at the end of the day, overpowered by this material conditioning, our spiritual consciousness is presently sleeping, but it can be revived by the transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the core. Harirnama eva kevalam. This is just the process. And so many times we convince ourselves, or somebody comes into our lives and we think maybe this is a sign from God and they're trying to convince you to shift your focus basically and focus on something else, focus on material adjustments. But I guess I was a person who used to fall for it before, that anybody who tells me anything, that must be God telling me something through this person. But I really got, you can say, burned. Can you say it in English also? In Russian you can say I got burned by such, by this mistake, in the sense that, no, it's not like that. Sometimes one can be a little naive, just like myself, and really just that's why I love reading Prabhupada's books every day. Thanks to my Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Just focusing on the transcendental sound vibration of Hare Krishna. Jai. So, as stated before, Hare refers to the energy of the Lord, and Krishna and Rama refer to the Lord himself. Therefore, when we chant Hare Krishna, we are praying, O Lord, O energy of the Lord, please accept me. We have no other prayer than, please accept me. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us that we should simply cry and pray that the Lord accepts us. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself prayed, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitamam vishame bhavam budau kripaya tava pada pankaja stitaduli sadrisham vichintaya. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila 20.32, Shikshashtaka, verse 5. Quote, O Krishna, son of Nanda, somehow or other I have fallen into this ocean of nescience and ignorance. Please pick me up and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Unquote. If a man has fallen into the ocean, his only hope for survival is that someone comes to pick him up. He only has to be lifted 1 inch above the water in order to feel immediate relief. Similarly, as soon as we take to Krishna consciousness, we are lifted up and we feel immediate relief. We cannot doubt that the transcendental is there. Bhagavad-gītā is being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Therefore, we should not doubt his word. The only problem is feeling and understanding what he is telling us. That understanding must be developed gradually, and that knowledge will be revealed by the chanting of Hare Krishna. By this simple process, we can come to understand the spiritual kingdom, the self, the material world, God, the nature of our conditioning, liberation from material bondage, and everything else. This is called Cheto Darpana Marjana. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya 20.12. Cleaning the dusty mirror of the impure heart. Jai, Jai, Jai. So we're going to stop here for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. The link to this book is in the description. And we shall see you next time. Please read this book, share it with your friends, chant Hare Krishna, and be happy. Haribol.